You're enough of the Verbote racket. This is Cyclone Chatter with Nasty Nate. Got We've got a massive matchup this Friday in Battle Court as teams that go on to win 3 game days in a row officially start a win streak. After a rough start to the season that saw the Cyclones drop their first 3 game days and totaling a measly 4 points in that span, the Cyclones have started gathering momentum. After a fiery team meeting, the Cyclones have won 2 straight game days, one of which handed the league-leading Chargers their first loss and totaled almost 3 times the points, as did their first 3 game days. Manu has seemed to find something on the singles court this season, going 3-1 to start and ending Go Cherry's win streak going back several seasons. Manu has excelled this season by dragging his opponents all over the court with his impeccable shot selection. It'll be interesting to see if the Cyclones can continue to overcome their tendency to drop 3-set matches, as they lead the league in 3-set matches played and lost, with a 6-9 record versus the league-leading Renegades in 3-set matches against the league-leading Renegades in 3-set matches, who have won a record 9. The C&K and Carballo and Ikeda stand for court coverage, as they'll be looking to be all over the court this Friday against the Renegades. It'll be interesting to see what advice UD gives his team to slow down this scorching Cyclones team, but honestly, I don't think it'll matter, as he clearly doesn't care half as much as Mike Ryan and Chris Cody, Battle Court's premier ownership duo. It's like what Mike Schur from The Good Place said. Shout out Mike Schur. It's not about being bad or good, but being better than we were yesterday, and this Cyclones team is certainly better than they were yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to God Bless Alai. We have a guest. God bless Alai, Taylor.
God bless Highlight, Nathan. Now you're actually locked into Highlight. It's not like a bit.
Yes. I am 100% locked into Alai there. So, and in typical fashion there, forgot to turn all my audio on for the live stream, but we're running on the audio now, balancing a lot of plates here. I'm definitely locked in. I am by far and away the #1 Cyclones fan. I keep wanting to say Cesta Cyclones, but the Cesta is gone. Who's your favorite Cyclone, Taylor?
Yeah, I have to be honest with you. I love a lot of sports. I love almost every sport, especially if you could bet on it.
So
I'm
much
going to be
love,
watching
yeah.
it. Highlight is probably the one that just goes in one ear and out the other. And Chris Cody and Mike Ryan and Mike Fuentes have invited me out to where is it, Magic City Casino?
Yeah, Magic City Casino.
Yeah, they've invited me out and they say it's a great time, and I believe them it's a great time. I watched a few highlights and I just kind of had to accept that, I love and respect that it's for some people, but some things you have to have the self-awareness to be like, hey, probably not for me. And I think Highlight might be one of those. But I'm a Clones fan in support because I do want to see my guys win.
Still believe in the leadership of Chris and Mike. Can you name a Cyclone? Can you name a Highlight player?
Manny. Is Manny one?
Ooh, he's a Cyclone lifer, but unfortunately, he's not on the Cyclones this season. He's a wall warrior.
Wow.
He's one of our rivals now. So
yeah, it's kind of like I said, it goes in one ear and out the other. And
close.
It's one of the
I thought for sure you'd have been able to name drop Manu, who he's looking
That's
great
what
out
I think
there.
I meant.
I mean,
yeah.
Manu, you definitely meant Manu, because he's, 3-1 this season in singles. Incredible play from him, and just his control of the pelota has really impressed me. What do you think, from what you've just seen behind the scenes, what do you think about the leadership of Chris Cody and Mike Ryan?
If I'm worried about anything, it's Mike Fuentes as the director of scouting or whatever. I feel like that kind of doesn't get the coverage it needs, because when the team's having their struggles, it's kind of Chris Cody and Mike Ryan doing the Spider-Man meme of whose fault it is. But Mike Fuentes kind of skates by with people not knowing that he's has a position of power almost equal to Chris Cody and Mike Ryan. And when Mike Ryan's not
Wow.
there on draft night, Fuentes is sitting in his spot and should be just as equally responsible for building the roster that got off to such a bad start this year. But like you said, they're kind of turning it around and maybe they're. I feel like the season
Well,
never
you're
stops.
talking actually season 4 of Battle Court where Mike Ryan wasn't at the draft. The full leadership team
Yeah.
did make it to the season 5 draft this year. And I hear you on what you've said. I've been tough on Fuentes. When he first joined the crew, this show here did actually call for his firing when he was the head of scouting. I don't know if that's his official position anymore. From what I understand it, he's the head of social engagement. But honestly, I feel like we're the head of social engagement now for the Cesta Cyclones. No one engages the people more than the Fan Lebitard show and God Bless Highlight when it comes to Cyclone talk and highlight talk. I mean,
Yeah.
making our
I
promos,
remember.
all that.
So we're in season 5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
It When season 4 was ending, I remember they're doing their talks and everything and saying they're kind of wrapping up the season. And my first thought was like, thank God that we're finishing up highlight talk. And they're like, yeah, the season's over. And then we had like maybe a week or two, and they were like, okay, new season starting. And I'm like, what kind of off season is this that you kind of just roll into one season right after the next? So I think that's another thing. I kind of need the off season to decompress and figure out where
Yeah.
my team is. Highlight just like we're right into the next season.
It is. It's going. I mean, they've only been owners for 2 years, but they've 5 seasons in that time frame. It does get confusing, and yet each season feels long as well. It's confusing how that works. I mean, 124 points to start the season. Cyclones now have 88 points remaining, have 15 and a half, sitting in 5th place here. Just rattling this all off the top of the dome. You got the league leading Chargers with, I think they're 36 and a half. Friday, we go up against the Rabote Renegades, defending champs, owned by UD. What do you think we've got to do to keep this streak going and get us to 3 and officially start the win streak?
My biggest key would be you got to start strong. You start strong, you finish strong,
Absolutely.
and you're going to win a lot of matches that way.
Start strong, definitely. This team, even though you're familiar with the bad start for this season, honestly, it's been this close. I mentioned it in my Cyclone Chatter of we lead the league in 3-set matches played. Highlight game, 3 sets, you played a 6. We've played the most 3-set matches. We've also lost the most of that. So if
a couple breaks go your way, and you're looking at a completely different team.
Mm-hmm. And now with the expansion fireballs, playoffs are now 4 teams getting into the playoffs. So we just have to move up one more position to make it to the playoffs. And everybody knows if you make it to Battle Court highlight playoffs, anything
You
can
throw the
happen.
records out, yeah.
You just throw the records out when you get to Battle Court highlight playoffs. If you had to pick, though, one owner, Chris Cody or Mike Ryan, who would you pick? Answer carefully.
In terms of highlight.
Yeah, if you had to pick, like if suddenly Dan Lebitard came to you and said, Taylor, we've got too many people involved in this highlight thing. We need to trim it down. Mike or Chris has got to go. Who's taking the reins completely?
Just off of their history, I would go Chris Cody because, correct me if I'm wrong, but the team was originally Chris Cody's that Mike Ryan kind of came on to.
Yes, you're correct.
So it's kind of like a finders first. I would go Chris Cody just off the fact that he's kind of been there.
But is
from
he
day
the
one.
loser, though? If you're going finders keepers, is Mike Ryan the finder because Chris Cody lost it because he went on the cruise?
That's also a good point. They were both owners when they won the championship?
When they won the championship, actually, after the championship, Mike Ryan said, I'm the owner now. And they worked it out in the off season, and then going into season 2, declared that they were going to be dual ownerships. And since then,
Okay.
they have been like this,
In lockstep.
simpatico, lockstep. Yeah. And it's been as someone who's followed the sport, it's been beautiful to see those two come together. They balance each other's leadership styles. I'd say Mike's a little bit more fiery, a little bit more demanding of his boys, and Chris Cody's there to make sure they're having fun, which is important.
A little good cop, bad cop.
Yeah. So I have here actually a list of top 5 highlight content creators to look out for here.
Yeah.
So OLI, outside looking in, Brian, he's another one of our members of the show, couldn't make it today. So congratulations, Brian. OLI, not quite top
Brian.
5. Number 5, it's the World Highlight League YouTube Spanish page. Number 5.
Okay.
Keep your eye. It's everything there, but in Spanish. Number
Mhm.
4, it's the World Highlight League TikTok page. They go live every single time. It's great if you're new to the game. You get in, you ask questions, understand the game, see it from a different perspective as well. They're my number 4 highlight content creator to look out for. Number 3, it's the World Highlight League app. They have their own app that you can watch highlight. You can watch it for free on a desktop and stuff. Also, their YouTube page. That's my number 3. Look out for this highlight content creator. My number 2 highlight content creator to look out for is myself.
The
Rising,
Tony in you is strong.
growing the ranks. Number 2, got to look out. I'm coming for that number 1 spot. But my number 1 highlight content creator is, of course, Annabelle, she's a news anchor. I don't know, I'm not from Miami, but she's at all the stuff, doing all the post-game interviews, reminding people to get to the Frontons on Fridays. That's free. That is my number 1. Look out for this highlight content creator for anybody who's looking to get more highlight in their life. So there's my top 5 highlight content creators to look out for. And I'm super excited. I mean, what do you think is going to happen this Friday against the Renegades? Do you think that's a win?
This is a big rivalry.
It's not. Our rivals are it's a growing rivalry because they did beat us in the championship. They've actually bested us in the championship game twice, but our true rivals are the Wall Warriors. We hate those guys.
Yeah,
Still,
I do remember that. This Friday, I'm gonna go with a Clones win. I feel like the momentum's back on the Clone side.
what's the score? What do you think the score is going to be?
I don't even know how.
8 total points. 8 total points on the line. Yeah.
So you could split 8 points.
You could split 8 points. I don't know
Okay.
the official. I don't think they've released the official lineups and what. Sometimes it's 7.5 points on the line, but we'll say it's
Okay.
8 points. So 8 points on the line.
Okay, and you could split half points.
You can split half points. Yeah.
right,
Winning
yeah.
a doubles match is half a point.
Okay, I'm gonna go close match. 4.5 to 3.5.
4.5. So continuing the win streak, but a tough opponent. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. How about March 11th versus the Wall Warriors? What do you think we're doing there? Is that a win or a loss? Little schedule talk.
I'm gonna go with a loss there, just because it's kind of one of those things you have to see a team beat a team before you pick against them, and you mentioned it, they bested them in the championship. So I would go a Wall Warriors. We'll go 6-2.
Wall Warriors win, you're saying?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well,
The Clones have to beat them before I start picking the Clones over the Wall Warriors.
Okay, they did. Well, we beat the Wall Warriors in the first championship ever to become champions. But this season we have not beaten the Wall Warriors yet. We did lose to them rather handily in our first matchup, 1.5 to 6.5. So your 2 to 6 there could hopefully that doesn't happen, because we can't afford too many more game days like that. So this has been God Bless Highlight, everybody. Get out to the Fronton, check it all out, and God bless Alai.